Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
Hello everyone. So moving today, we're talking about another very famous sociologist, that's Max Weber. Now Max Weber talked about the concept of bureaucracy. He gave an highlight to the concept of bureaucracy while he was talking about his ideas of sociology. Now, starting with his life and his work, he was a German thinker and a founder of the modern sociology, received training in law and economics and took up teaching as the profession. Weber's reputation as a social scientist and a founder of modern sociology depends on his writings and methodological contributions. So it is his understanding and his writings that are here and talks about majorly his ideas. Some of the important books he wrote was The Protestant Ethic and The Spirit of Capitalism, Methodology of Social Sciences, Sociology of Religion, and Economy and Society. Now, Weber defined sociology as follows. He says that sociology is a science which attempts the interpretive understanding of social actions in order to arrive at casual explanation of its course and effects. Very, very interesting for us to understand. He says that it is a study of all the social interactions. It is a kind of attempt to the interpretation of the social actions. Why have I done this? Why has the other person done that? Now, why do we do it? In order to arrive at a casual explanation of its course and effects. In order to come to a casual explanation, in order to come to a consensual, in a way, explanation of the whole course and the effects is what is sociology as per him. He says he considered the social action as the basic unit of analysis. Obviously, what are you trying to explain? Social actions. And hence is considered the basic unit of analysis. Now, social action is the action of an individual, but not all actions are social actions. Very, very important. Now, what is a social action? An action is social only when the actor attaches a subjective meaning to it and gives a social orientation to it. When you kind of have a social orientation to it, when you have not just the individual or not just the independent understanding and an objective meaning, but rather a subjective meaning to it, is known as the social action. Now, Weber defines or identifies 4 types of social action. One was the goal-oriented action, goal-rational action, something that you want to achieve. And hence you are working in that sphere and your actions are working in that sphere. Value rational action, something which is your value, maybe truth or non-violence, something which is your value and molding your actions is known as the value rational action. Affective action or the emotional action, something you take into consideration emotionally, something you take into consideration because of the emotions attached to it, is known as the emotional action. Traditional action, something which has been coming on or something which has been going on from generations after generations, is the concept of traditional action. Now, the major concept that he talks about is the concept of bureaucracy. What is bureaucracy? How is he relating bureaucracy to the society or sociology is what we're going to talk about. Now, in the modern world, the state depends on bureaucracy or the rational legal authority. Whatever is there as a part of your rational legal authority is bureaucracy. When you are legally and rationally given some kind of authority in the society is known as bureaucracy. Bureau means an office or a system of laws, rules, regulations defining specific functions. It means organized work process of a group. When you have an organized structure, when you have a clear-cut division of the people, of the work of the people, of the group, is known as, comes under the bureaucratic setup. Now, according to Max Weber, bureaucracy is a type of social organization in hierarchical order in which each person is assigned power and authority. If you are a class 1 officer, you have a different kind of authority and a power attached to it. If you're a class 2 grade 2 officer, you have a different kind of authority and power attached to it, and that is what makes it hierarchical, and hence that is what makes it a structure of a division being there, and that is what justifies here the specifications or the regulations of the specific order in the bureaucracy. It aims to rationally run the administration of the state or other organizations. What is the aim? The aim is to run the administration of the state in the best way possible, and hence Weber says that bureaucracy has a very close relationship with democracy. Because you are talking about the administration of the state, because you are talking about how the state can be functioned in the best way possible, that is what is termed as the bureaucratic structure. Now, if in India we talk about the whole bureaucratic structure, you would go back to the UPSC, you would go back to the civil servants being appointed. They are the people who do have ranks. When you enter in, you are not the one who is holding the same rank who has worked as that of a person who has worked there for, let's say, 20 years. It is hierarchical. It has very clear division of what is to be done, what our actions is to be done by whom, and definitely helps in the functioning of the democratic setup of the country, and hence has obviously power and prestige and authority attached to it. That is what makes it the bureaucratic setup or defines bureaucracy. Talking about the features of bureaucracy, bureaucracy has number of interconnected features that are there. Number one being, as an organization, bureaucracy is a continuous performance of official functions according to rule. It is not something that, okay, you do it for a period of time, you do it for a project, then you are not there at all, and oppose that you do it as a part of the, you do it as a part of the setup again, and then you are not found anywhere. It is a continuous process of a person performing official functions according to the rules and regulations. Now, persons performing these functions have specified spheres of competence and are given necessary authority to fulfill their duties. You do have IPS officers, you do have IAS officers, you do have IFS officers, and so on and so forth. Under this unit also, some of you will be given the financial or the economical zone, some will be given the social welfare zone, some will be given the justice zone of the, taking care of the boundaries or the, the external affair rather. That is all your specifications would be. However, your main aim would be the functioning of the society, the necessary, but as per your goals or as per your competences, you will be assigned these goals, further on giving you the necessary authorities to fulfill the functions out there. The authority is differentially distributed. As a hierarchy of official position is formed, higher officials have controlling and supervisory functions with respect to the subordinates. Obviously, like I said, if you are a civil service aspirant and you enter into the concept of, and you enter into the system of civil services, that is what exactly is the division or the hierarchy that you see, that you do not get the exact power or you do not get the exact services, the controlling or the supervisory services or the functions that some of your seniors would have got, and hence makes it a hierarchical setup. The officials are appointed on the basis of merit and qualifications. The UPSC examination that you have Obviously, on the basis of merit and the qualifications, you have a minimum qualification of being a bachelor's. You have a very, very tough examination of 3 phases being there, being the prelims, the mains, and the interview part. That is what makes a person being appointed in the bureaucratic setup. Now, the bureaucrats do not own the means, and so they cannot use their power for private purposes. You do not own the means. Even if you will be appointed with, let's say, a house as a part of if you are being transferred somewhere, if you are provided with that house for your survival or for your, for as a privilege to you, that is not something that you will own. Since you do not own it, you rarely are able to make the use of the power for your private purposes. And hence, bureaucracy is characterized by the written records. What all is being done, what all has to be done is written. It is a set document that tells us what all is being done, because they are the public servants. You are in a way serving the public, which may at any point of time ask you for, explanation to certain things, especially with the RTI coming in. So it has written records being maintained, and before also for the explanation of the whole functioning of the individual, there are records there. The officials in the bureaucratic system must act impersonally, rationally, and according to the rules. There should not be that tinge. Like I said, it is serving the nation. It is serving the people of the nation. When you are serving the people of the nation, the first and the foremost entity that you talk about is giving away with that individual criteria, giving away with that the understanding of self before the society. You would have to keep society before yourself, and that is what is one of the expectations or one of the features of the bureaucracy. Bureaucrats have security of service tenure, paid salary according to the scales, and enjoyed pension benefits as well. The government setup, again, one of the very major and one of the very famous government setups, the bureaucracy. You do have pension services, you do have a lot of privileges involved, you do have a lot of, you are paid well, you have a fixed tenure of you retiring, that is at the age of 60, and that is how bureaucrats function. Moving on to the assignment questions to see if you have understood the concept. How does Weber define sociology? It is there in the start, wherein we have talked about that for Weber, it is a close relationship with democracy. It is the organized working, or rather he has actually talked about how sociology is a science which is dependent on the social action in order to have, or in order to arrive to a casual explanation of its course or if its effects. That is what makes the sociology, the definition of the sociology in Weber's terms. What is social action according to Max Weber? So not every action is a social action. An action wherein you have the subjective meaning to it and has a social orientation involved is a social action. Who wrote The Protestant Ethic and the Spirit of Capitalism? Obviously, Max Weber is the one who wrote it. What is bureaucracy? Now, bureaucracy is the rational legal authority, if you want to describe it as crisp as here, that it is the rational legal authority being present in the country. Moving ahead is the short questions, wherein they briefly want you to describe the 4 types of social actions propounded by Max Weber. We did talk about the goal-oriented actions. We did talk about the value rational actions. We did talk about the emotional or the affective actions, and we did talk about the traditional actions, and that is what you are expected to write in the answer. Mention 4 important features of bureaucracy. We talked about the features of bureaucracy wherein it is based on the continuous performance. It is something which is the performance of the official functions involved, official functioning involved according to the rules. Then you have persons performing these functions have specified spheres of competence and have specified skills based on which they are given the specified authorities. Now, the authorities are also differentially distributed. You see the differential distribution of authorities because hence it is hierarchical in nature. All of these are the aspects and it is based on the merit and qualification, and that is what you will be able to write. You should be writing in your answer. Moving ahead, explain the features of bureaucracy as given by Max Weber. We have just discussed about the features. Discuss Max Weber's concept of bureaucracy, starting from the explanation to the features to the understanding to the 2 types of bureaucracy. All of this will be included in this particular answer. I hope it made sense to all of you. You were able to understand the Max Weber's idea of bureaucracy related to today's life and related to our nation in terms of this UPSC aspiration or the civil services or the bureaucratic setup that we have in our country at present right now. Now, we have talked about the three main sociologists. One was Karl Marx, Emily Durkheim, and Max Weber. I hope all of these three have been able to it is clear to you wherein Emily Durkheim was talking majorly about the social aspect, rather the division of labor. Max Weber here is talking about bureaucracy, and Karl Marx is talking about the class conflict. All of these three people are very, very well-known people in the sociological aspect, but have their own understanding, their own way of understanding the concept of sociology and hence the explanation of sociology. I hope you enjoyed this session and knowing about these sociologists and were able to answer the questions well.